Welcome back. Let us continue with our lesson. Now, we'll start by looking into the causes of conflict, then look into the conflict resolutions steps. Now, what do we mean by conflict? It's always important to know what we are talking about. Conflict refers to a clash of opinions or ideas in the workplace, because now the focus is a business, and in the business for workers is considered to be a workplace. So conflict can arise in the workplace. So we'll be looking into the causes of conflict to say, again, this refers to a disagreement between two or more parties in the workplace who are not agreeing on matters. So now we are looking into the causes of the conflict, the cause of the disagreement between the workers, to say what can cause those disagreements. Now, this can be caused by the following. When workers may be having different personalities or backgrounds, which can lead to disagreements on matters because of their background or their personality. Another aspect that can cause conflict in the workplace is lack of recognition for good work. For example, employees may not be appreciated for extra hours worked to meet a deadline. When they are not being appreciated, it will hit on them, especially emotionally, to say they are not being appreciated. So that can lead to conflict in the workplace as well. And then another issue is lack of clarity regarding employees' roles and responsibilities. When there is lack of clarity, especially when it comes to what the employee should do, that can lead to conflict, because they will be confused when it comes to performing their duties and responsibilities, which will lead to conflict with other workers. And then another aspect is lack of communication between management and workers. There should be clear communication so that everything is clear to the workers, so that they know what is expected of them. And the management should communicate at first hand, because the management is the one that has the plan, is the one that wants to achieve the vision and mission of the organization. Then another aspect is that the leadership style used can cause conflict as well. For example, autocratic managers may not consider workers' inputs. That can lead to conflict, to say workers may want to contribute towards the business, but the leadership style is stopping them from doing so. So that can cause conflict as well. Now let us look into conflict resolution steps, to say what should a manager do to manage conflict, because a conflict now can occur between two workers. So the management should come in and solve the conflict now. This is the way in which now the managers can solve the conflict. One, they have to acknowledge that there is conflict in the workplace, meaning to agree to say now there is conflict. These two workers used to interact very well, but now they are no longer talking to each other. So there must be conflict. There must be a disagreement that caused the situation. Then another aspect is they need to identify the cause of conflict. Referring to what we talked about, was it the leadership style used? Was it the lack of recognition for good work? Was it unrealistic objectives? So they need to look into that. Then, thereafter, after identifying the cause, then the manager would have to arrange a meeting between conflicting parties. Because one thing you should know about conflict would be a disagreement between two workers in most cases. But it is not something that would take the business now to CCMA. No, this is just a disagreement which would happen between two workers. So they need to arrange a meeting between conflicting employees. Then each party must be given an opportunity to express their own opinion, to say what led to the conflict, why did they disagree on matters. They need to be allowed to express themselves. And then blame shifting should be avoided, and a joint effort should be made in order for the conflict to be solved. And then brainstorm possible ways to resolve the conflict. Thereafter, provide opportunities for parties to agree on the best solutions after the brainstorming with the members who are in conflict, and then select and implement the best solution that can help to solve the conflict that has occurred or arisen. Then source experts on handling conflict from outside should conflict not be solved between the conflicting parties. So the business would have to source maybe a psychologist who can come in and try to help the conflicting parties, because the aim here is that there should be harmony in the workplace so that the business could be productive. Because if there's hate, if there's disagreements and some resentment between some of the workers, that can lead to productivity suffering because there's resentment and some employees are not in good terms. So with that being said, that's why it's very, very important to ensure that conflict gets to be solved. To an extent of sourcing an expert, meaning someone from outside the organization to come and try and solve the conflict in order for productivity to happen, which can lead to the vision and mission of the business being achieved. So with that being said, let us take a short break and we will continue with our lesson when we come back.